So Frank, right before we jump in the wines, one thing that I see that I love is that you're using screw tops.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
You know, we're kind of a traditional winery. We've always done things old-fashioned way, but one thing we hate is a corked bottle of wine.
Right.
A defective cork that wrecks the wine inside. And sometimes it's 1 out of 20 bottles, sometimes 1 out of 30, but one bad bottle of wine is horrible. I mean, people talk about bad bottles of wine. The wine is always sound inside the screw cap, and so about half our production is in screw caps. We basically under $30 retail. We're using screw cap, but we are bottling even our Highliner Pinot Noir in screw cap experimentally to see how they age. We're using them in our bar at the restaurant for by the glass, so the bartenders can easily open and pour. And it's just why waste a cork?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed over the years in the restaurants that customers were almost never returning bottles of wine, which only meant that they were drinking some corked wine.
Yeah,
which particularly when your name's on it, you don't want that
Absolutely.
association.
They end up thinking that you're a bad winemaker. You make bad wine when it's a defective bottle from a cork. But you know, corks in general have proven that they can hold wine for long periods of time, and the wines age really well. So we're still using a lot of cork.
Okay. So also, I'm thrilled that you're doing a dry rosé. You know, it's time for Americans to get over a bad association with pink wines. Tell me about what you're making.
Well, we mostly are red wine winery. For a steakhouse restaurant, we red wines. But instead of making white wine, we decided to do pink rosé wine, dry style. We're using a grape called Val d'Aiguille. It used to be called Napa Gamay, blending it with Pinot Noir. We take juice off the fermenters, 1 day soaked on the skins to get the color we want. Take the juice away, barrel ferment it, just like you would a Chardonnay, and then age it in those barrels in neutral oak without any sort of oak influence, but the aging ability of the maturation that happens inside a barrel, and bottle that in early like March or April, and the wine is ready to go for the summertime. But these wines are seriously got good acid, good structure, and will age very well for a year or two without any problem. This wine is crisp and fresh, and it's got nice berry character, but it's made to go with food, and you can enjoy it as an aperitif before.
So let's have a taste, my friend.
Cheers.
Thanks. I love that it's real subtle fruit, it's very elegant.
You know, we're into sort of balanced wines that go with food. This has got a nice, I think it sort of wakes up your palate.
Absolutely.
It's great at wine tastings when everybody's tasted all these heavy wines. We make them taste the rosé.
Right.
Wakes up your palate. You're ready for something for the next wine.
And with your grill influence, you can do a wide array of different types of food with this wine, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this probably even work with a grilled artichoke, which artichokes are notoriously not well matched with wine.
Right.
But when you grill, you caramelize, a green vegetable like an artichoke, which is kind of green and bitter.
Sure.
When you cook it a lot and caramelize it, make it sweet on the grill and give it the smoke influence, it allows it to work with wines a lot better.
And I also love the seasoning that you were doing on that grilled artichoke. You know, with that nice salt presence on it, and a crisp wine would be lovely.
Yeah, we make a mixture called Magic Dust that people take home with them because we sell it, and
excellent.
And that's what we use on most of our food.
Okay, what's next?
So we're mostly, known for our Pinot Noirs. We've been making Pinot Noir since 1981. We sort of fell in love with it, but it turns out our region is known for, or will be known for lots of different things because we have such a diversity of climate here. But we have 2 Pinot Noirs to show. This one's called Hometown. This is our entry-level sort of early bottle. It sort of emphasizes the fruit of young Pinot Noir and made to enjoy when it's very, very young. 2008 vintage. Our first wine that we've made at the new Terravant Wine Company in Buellton, which is sort of a new high-end, ultra-modern winery that we're sort of making old-style wine at a brand-new facility, and it's wonderful. We have wonderful temperature controls, humidity-controlled barrel aging. We have so many things that can make our wines better, and I think this wine reflects that. But it's sort of focused, precise Pinot Noir from Santa Barbara.
So for someone who's just getting into your wines, these would be good sort of entry-level wines to see what you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, the rosé will get you for $15. And this Pinot is a $20 bottle of wine. So So it's affordable, and you know, we make more expensive, longer barrel aged, more new oak influence. This is more simpler, and you know, fruit driven, and more accessible in its youth.
You know, it's interesting. Right out of the bottle, it's fresh. You've got great berries. You know, it just sort of sings of strawberries and red cherries, but the tannins are very, very soft. Sometimes in inexpensive Pinot, you'll find a little bit of a burn to it, and this has none at all. I mean, it's as easy to drink as anything I've had.
Well, over the years, we've evolved fermentation styles where we try to extract most of the flavor in the early part of fermentations before the bitterness of higher alcohols. Alcohol can extract bitterness from fermentation, so we try to get our extraction done in a cold soak as a pre-fermentation extraction, and also in the beginnings of the fermentation. Later on, we don't fuss with the fermentations. We let it sort of finish dry without, and we stay away from a lot of that bitterness.
And where are you sourcing the fruit from?
This is a three valley blend. It has Santa Maria Valley. It has Julia's Vineyard, Biennacido, Sierra Madre Vineyard from Santa Maria, all well-known vineyards. Kikon Vineyard from Los Alamos, and then the Rio Vista from right here, close to the restaurant in the Santa Rita Hills.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, inexpensive Pinot.
Thank you.
Really nicely done.
Thank you. And then on the higher end, we have our blend called Highliner, which is we try to make our best Pinot Noir each vintage by blending basically the Biennacido Vineyard in Santa Maria Valley with the Fiddlesticks Vineyard in the Santa Rita Hills. And they're both very, very well-known vineyards. And the Biennacido gives a forward, very rich character, and the Fiddlesticks gives sort of an earthy and a structure that will last a long time. And so the combination is something that we've found to be make a very complete wine. We're not trying to make the biggest Pinot Noir. This one will have 70% new oak, so it's a little more masculine in style than the hometown. But we're trying to make a very complete wine, a wine that has
more complexity to it.
Yeah.
It seems like the finish is a little bit drier at the end, but you still have that gorgeous cherry fruit. And you know, I think the overall balance of the wine is great. Now, this is something that we could age.
Oh yeah, this has
no problem.
This will be 5 years before it reaches
really
a peak, and maybe good for 10 years. I mean, we think it's probably our best vintage 2007 that we have had to that date, and we're very proud of it.
Okay. All right, let's get on to the last one.
Yeah, you know, besides the Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays of the region, of course, there's wonderful Syrahs, and there's even really, really good Cabernet Franc and Merlot. And that's what this blend called Gen Red features. And it also has a little bit of Syrah and a little bit of that grape Valdegui that was made into the rosé. We also make some red wine out of it. And 6% of this blend is that. This is always, we've been making this blend for 10 years, using it as the house wine of the restaurant. So it's like our house Cabernet, but it's Cabernet Franc and Merlot predominantly. And it's, of course, more flavorful, more dramatic, a little more rustic than the Pinot Noirs. The Pinot Noirs are very elegant, very refined wines. This has a little more gusto to it.
So for people who want a bigger red wine, a little bit more depth of flavor, but again, what I like is how dry it is.
Yeah, well, these are wonderful food wines. They have great acidity about them.
That's exactly where I was. Love that.
This is different than Merlot that was made fun of in the movie Sideways. This is different than the Merlot that's made from the Central Valley of California. That's just fluff and fruit and nothing softness. This has got serious acidity, very much made to go with food, very much made to age.
Well, nicely done overall. Can't wait to get into some food.
Cool.
But this was great. Let's check out the kitchen, all right?
All right.
Cool.